Good evening and welcome to Marshall Net. So it's been a while, 3 weeks since. Oh, there we go.
It's like
uh,
a witness relocation program.
yes. Oh, that's better.
Yeah.
If you're watching, tell us where you're watching from. Say hello. Smash that like button. So today we're gonna be just talking about some of the things we've been observing on social media, and not all bad. Not all bad. There's some good, some bad, and some ugly. so, so, hence the title: the good, the bad, the ugly. So, before we get into that, yeah, been a while. So, how you been?
Not bad. I just got back from Boston.
Yeah.
I was there for 3 days. That was kind of cool. Visiting some of my wife's family. So it was been a while since I've been stateside. Um, Surprisingly enough, I was treated quite well at the border this time around.
Probably 'cause you had your kids.
Um, yeah, it's kind of funny because when you travel with a Euro passport, you have to get a land visa every 3 months, and it's normally $6, and they upped it to 30 some odd dollar, $30.
Yeah.
Um, but they were like super cool. They just like it took longer for my wife to use the ATM inside the the inside the border patrol office than it did for me to go through this time around. And
Wow.
it's in the past it's taken me like hours. Like that one time I took a pick you up, it took me over three
I
three
know.
hours to get in. You know, and still don't know why, because I'm not like a troublemaker or anything.
No, you don't instigate or anything like that. So, I mean, it's a little surprising why they would have delayed you in that regard. I didn't
You
mind
know?
staying at Tim's for those hours upon hours waiting for you. But so Boston, yes, you were like 2.5 hours above me. So, family affair.
Yeah, it's my first time in Boston, as far my first time hanging out there for fun. And yeah, it's a cool place.
No, there's just a lot to do. It's not. It's one of the better cities, honestly.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
was yeah, it was just a cool place to hang out.
yeah,
Um
yeah.
More than anything else, it was like I said, it's just more uh family oriented stuff that we did, and not so much like training or anything else, but I met some cool people.
Hmm.
As I mentioned, I met somebody who um, is a manager for a bunch of UFC fighters, so I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
So,
so,
and
uh,
he actually heard about the Dog Brothers and whatnot, so he was like, "Oh, you one of those guys?" I'm like, "Yeah."
oh wow, that was okay. That was nice. He actually heard it. Okay, yeah. So we've obviously we talked during the 3 weeks that we've been off, and some of that dialogue has been centered around what we've been seeing on social media. And again, not all bad, not all bad. Like there was some good stuff that we've been seeing. So where do you want to start? The ugly, the bad, or the good?
I think it's hard to just speak about one without the other. So I think I don't have a problem just going in circles and picking one
Yeah,
out
we can
with
do
the other.
that. Yeah.
And I
Um,
think it's funny because good, bad, and ugly. I think sometimes one person can encompass it. Can encompass all three of those.
one post.
Sometimes I'll see this video. Where it's like this is for
Yeah,
training
it was
purposes
a
only. This is why
trifecta.
I'm a killer. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, triple play, right? um,
yeah, and just some of the things that I've been seeing out there, and just like I think one of the things that's really kind of getting to me is when people talk when they're dismissive about instructors or people that teach. and they have to be a certain age, or they want to be a certain um, at a certain physicality and stuff like that. Like some of
Mm,
that stuff gets on my nerves because it's like um, when people talk about that, it kind of just makes me think about some of my instructors that I've had. Like oh, you have to be a certain age, you have to be a certain physical caliber. I dare anybody to get into the ring with Eric Canellis or Arlen Sanford and say that. Just you know, just
yeah.
be prepared to get humbled. Or
Mm,
does Guru Dan need to get into the mix with people to show that his knowledge is current or
yeah.
worth using? Did Castamodo have to go into the ring with Mike Tyson to spar with him to to teach him how to be a good boxer? Like there's a lot of stuff there which I wish people would just shut the fuck up because they have no idea what they're talking about. Um,
Or their background, like if they don't have the, like what they perceive as accreditations or like lineage and all that. Like I've seen some of the best folks
and I
in
think,
the.
yeah, and then I think we have to go back to martial arts and martial sports.
Hey, Rich.
Uh, I'm not. I used to run track when I was a kid. I'm not going to run track now, but I will jab you into next week if you piss me off. Um, you know,
You will not be doing the quarter mile. Well,
no, no, no. And I think the one thing I've noticed with myself getting older, and when I get on the mats or when I get in the ring, is that I'm a lot meaner now than I was when I was younger. And I think it's just because I don't have the longevity as far as I'm not going to sit there for 5 minutes with you to blow for blow because
yeah,
I don't want to be there. I'm just going to, maybe finish it off a bit quicker.
yeah, right. So, yeah, no, no, definitely.
So, it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's my ego that takes a hit. Maybe I just don't like hearing it because I'm getting up in my days. But
Mm.
I just think it's a very narrow-minded way of looking at training. Because then if that's how you feel, then what's the point of teaching anybody? So if someone who's over 40 comes up to you and says, I want to learn martial arts, you're gonna say, you're too old.
Or flip that around, flip the coin. Somebody older that you don't think you can get anything from, too. You know what I mean? So I think that can go both ways. As far as that goes.
Shit, I'll throw Burton Richardson in that boat. Like someone tell me that guy's too old, and then you watch him move around.
Yeah, and despite the health issues he's had and all that, look at him. He's still going and all that. So I can one absolutely attest to that for
And
sure.
of course, because these are my people on my tribe, I always have to point at people within my group and the age range from 20s to
Yeah,
late 60s, and in some cases even 70s of people who have gone out there and fought. And I'm not talking about sparring. I'm talking about full on you're in a fight with somebody.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So, anyways, that's I guess that's one of the uglies there.
Yeah, there's been some good, like like I think, like I've seen some good posts. Folks trying to collaborate with others. Or just putting questions out there. Like I've seen a couple posts coming lately of my discussion, people making queries about stuff like that, which I thought was I always enjoy that. Some people just generally asking on something and that. I think that's always nice that people that making queries to find out information that maybe they don't know and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Some of the posts still coming in there, or it's a little hard to. But
I always love when I see uh, a post about a post against politics turning into a political discussion. Like, I can't believe that this group is talking shit about my group because my group is the
Uh,
grandmaster.
yeah, I haven't seen. I mean, then again, yeah, like I know where most of my time is. Like I shut FMA discussion down for a bit just to kind of get in there and like because there's a huge issue with the spam. Like a lot of these posts are they're going to spam, and it's not my fault. They're just going in there. So I mean, there were it's just getting like I never had that issue before. So I'm not sure what's going on as far as what uh what the metrics are, what Facebook is doing now with these groups and the posts, why they deem something acceptable to be approved or not, or something that's spam. You know what I mean? Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I have some issues with that too.
Yeah, and but I tell you, it's freaking time consuming. I'm
Well,
like,
I remember when you made me a admin on the page, and then it was like I was literally getting pinged every 30 seconds. Like it was stupid. Like and then a lot of the stuff is just like I'm glad a lot of the stuff doesn't make doesn't get approved just because a lot of it is just batshit crazy.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
just from
I mean,
some of the things that people say.
it's, and I get it. A lot of these folks they want to get their name out there and et cetera, et cetera. And but I mean, some of it's pretty hard to digest. Yeah, but the tough thing is if they're not breaking the rules, I kind of have to.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I tell you, it was kind of nice to shut it down for that period of time because it's like I didn't feel like I had this part-time job. I mean, going in there and like just doing whatever. And
Well, I think part of the problem too, after a while, is like people started attacking you for it, right? Like
why
it's
would
your fault.
my post not get approved and all this? And then when I show them went to spam, then they ease back. Like you know what I mean? 'Cause, it's been a legit problem as of late. Like there's been some guys who posted before good stuff, and I see it in spam for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Yeah.
The thing too is, I'm kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm grateful for a lot of the invites I get from people to get into a discussion or that they want to invite me to, an online seminar and stuff like that. Like, don't get offended when I just either don't, if I don't reply, it's because I'm stupid busy, or two, it's just not my thing. Like, I just don't like the whole online thing.
No, I know. Yeah. It's a whole nother. Yeah.
But, I guess with the good, I guess with the amount of people that are posting videos or want to post videos, I guess it shows that there is a growth in, and by growth, I don't mean like malignant growth, a good growth in FMA and that kind of stuff, right? A lot of people, it seems like a lot more people are taking it now.
There's that. Yeah, but it's and again, I don't have the answer for this, but I've asked myself this and others. Like I'm seeing these systems come in FMA discussion now that I've never heard of. Now that's not to say they didn't exist before, but like FMA discussion, like I mean, 6+ years now, and all of a sudden, like the last year, it's like these systems coming into like I've just never heard. And I've asked a few other people, hey, have you ever heard of it? And the answer I've been getting for those who I've asked is no. So I don't know, and I'm not saying these systems were made up on the fly, or it's a collaboration, or a blend, or or whatever, and they just literally just came aboard. You know,
There are a ton of people out there, Dean, and I know that, you're too nice to say it, but there's a ton of people that we've met over the years that all of a sudden they have a family system. And it's
this is
like,
my family system going back.
it's like, fuck, man, I've known you for 25 years. I've never heard this before.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's like that, So that being like, I don't know if bad or ugly, but I mean, like, that's funny. I've never
Or
seen this.
one thing I've noticed is that people seem to get really upset when it comes to criticism of their arts and stuff.
Which brings
Um,
up a great point. The difference between critiquing and criticism. Like I've seen legitimate critiques, like more query oriented, not criticism, but like just questioning the validity, like, why are you doing it this way and that, and just seeing people just go like get in that subjective emotional, defense mode and just,
oh yeah, I seen. May have seen one earlier today where a well-known CLAT instructor posted a video of him doing some crazy, 10-hit combination with some sort of weapon. And then someone that I legitimately looked at the post and I didn't think this person's trolling said, I'm not sure what you're accomplishing here. Can you explain it? And why would someone who's being stabbed just stand there? That's not a bad thing to
It's
ask.
like,
And
yeah, I
then
don't look at it as a criticism. Like he basically, yeah, he turns
and
things.
then and it turned into this like you obviously have never trained in this system before and we are killers and so on and so forth. And it was just like all you've done now is proven that you can't take any criticism. And anybody who might have been interested remotely to even train with you thinks you're a goofball.
Mm, yeah, like that's yeah. I don't view that as a criticism. Like he,
Thanks, Francisco. I had to get I had to get a fade.
I'm not gonna be long. So yeah, the Renee fade. The Renee. Roman said the Renee fade.
Yeah, it's actually a comb over. You can't really see it very well.
So yeah, whereas, but then again, I've seen outright criticism, like just like, and I've had that happen with me. Like I've had um, folks, like just ignorant, like like they're trolling. I mean, like it wasn't. They're not critiquing. They're not trying to see what you're doing, or they're not trying to be suggestive or wondering why you're doing it that way. It's just flat out like they're just trolling.
Hmm.
And
Well,
that's
I like stuff like even like some of the stuff that like Kevin Goat, he puts a lot of videos or has a lot of videos out there. Do I like them all? No. But do I think that he's sitting there saying this is the only way and this is the best way? No, he's just saying this is a way of working through this, scenario. And I think those kind of videos are actually a good thing, right, for the community. He's not
no,
sitting there going, you suck,
yeah,
and
no.
that's the way it
Like
is.
I like a lot of his stuff. I think he's provocative and in a good regard. You know what I mean? This is a good. Most Ceylon feeders just stand. Yeah, I. That's why I took it with Bert. Like again, there was that contesting. I totally agree with you, Ludwig. Like, yeah, I don't know what's going on in that community. Um, I don't know why they do that. It's I'm totally against it, but you're absolutely right. The Yukis or whatever, yeah, they just stand there while the guy's just doing. Like I seen one, like my opinion on falling to force, man. Like when that thing's already in flight, good luck trying to catch that. You know what I mean? Like, and you see these guys. Like I saw one, and it's crazy. But yeah, but like we're absolutely on that. Like they're just standing there, and I guess obviously. But you know what amazes me too on this? This goes hand in hand with this. I always and you heard me say this before. I told you this before. I always look at the audience, like who's liking this and like that, and it's just amazing, quote unquote, people who claim being functionalists that are liking this, knowing that the guy's just standing there, not doing anything. It's one thing you leave your arm out there because you're trying to establish the measure, like where to move your head out the outside if you're demonstrating a slip or something. Okay, I get it because you need that metric. When you're showing your students where, yeah, okay. But when you're doing this template and this crazy stuff, yeah, I don't know.
You know, yeah. Listen, you don't have to just go into CLAT to see that.
No, 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 absolutely not.
A lot of Filipino stuff will do it as well. A lot of Like, listen, even in the J&D world, that was a problem I had with a lot of the stuff. And I agree with Ludwig. It's off a jab cross, you know. Um, I can spike fence in there pretty easy, but following that jab back in, I don't think I want to, especially when someone's loading up for that cross coming in.
Yeah. If you're on
Um,
center, no,
yeah.
that's yeah, yeah.
And you've seen like, well, when we are playing that day, you've seen like when people crash in on me, how I gate into it. You know, it's a strong structure. I'll sit there for very long, and I know that the person's going to start hitting, so that's why I brace, break, and then attack.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it's just that's the way I like to do things. But it's a moment in time, and if you miss one of those steps, you're going to eat something on the way in or out.
If you're not, and yeah, particularly if you're not getting offline while you are entering, I know you're done. And that's what's, it's sad about C-Lab because I never, prior to Burton, I always looked at it. I was always intrigued, but I could not connect the dots how they would make this work against somebody resisting. So I always just looked at it, but never took it until one day I was just talking with Burton, and we got on a subject. He goes, "Look, I want you to just try it." He goes, "If you don't like it, that's fine." And then when I did the dive in, I'm like, "Oh man, like but the way he does it though is completely different from a lot of these other folks that are doing it. It's like they're just putting in this mass curriculum, which some of it, I'm telling you right now, has Anasano blend stuff in there too. I'm not going to say
Mhm.
the people, um, but the way he did it and the rounds you had to put in isolating, that tactic or that technique, I now like I was starting to see like the light, you know what I mean? But if it weren't for him, I don't think I would ever done it.
I'll go back to Burton on this one. What I really like about him is that he makes it functional to someone who's throwing a jab, and his timing is good enough that he can follow that jab in
Hmm.
or step off to the side. Um, so yeah, like I seen him pull a lot of that stuff off. Actually, Vunak was really good at that as well.
The
When
day, yeah, yeah.
like his trapping was pretty insane, and you would see it in real time with someone who actually is trying to hit him. It wasn't like a jab and then something happens, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, no, no. But I tell you, some birds. I mean, I'm telling you, I am so glad I changed my lens and I gave it a shot because I think it's one of his best programs offers and one of the favorite things I've done with him because it's really stuff that just really works well. And he's so honest with, okay, this can work, but A and B need to happen before that, just to be honest with you. But again, that whole honesty, and to you and like that, like, in there and he's not giving you like fairy tale stuff or like so it's the integrity is there, you know what I mean?
It's nice to see someone who applies and doesn't mind eating a hit on the way in order to, show that it's possible, sort of thing, right? And I
Yeah,
think that's the other bad part with some of these videos that I've been seeing is that everything is picture perfect. The
yeah,
instructor has to be picture
yeah,
perfect, and then you can tell that there is, either there's been some creative editing or no one's willing to show that they're human, right? And I think that's
yeah.
another thing I find
uh,
wrong.
but I tell you, like, again, I know I'll go back to this because it's my what I put most time in and all that. When I look at some of the empty hand against knife stuff, it's just like, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, have you, like it just is so discouraging seeing these guys. They're getting all this likes from what they're doing, and you've been in there. It's like there's no way that's going to happen, or there's going to be failures there, and the way you're going about it, and there's really no separation in the dialogue and description between art and functionality. You know what I mean? Like that's the other thing too. I'm starting to see they don't really make it clearly decisive, like what one it is. You know what I mean? I see that's like a newer trend now, or maybe it's not newer, but something I guess I've been noticing.
I saw something that was actually really cool today. And it was a guy who was talking about concealed carry
Mm.
and shooting. And he's saying, a lot of the videos are pretty basic. They take they pull their weapon out of their holster, they fire, and after they're done firing, they rapidly put it back in the holster. And he says, I like everything I see except for why are you going so fast back into your holster? That's the quickest way you will get hurt. And he was just going about different things about you get caught up in your coat, you might not be done yet. And I was like,
Mm.
wow, what a great explanation for that. It was like everybody's so worried about looking good that they
Well,
don't,
yeah, because of the dopamine and the likes you get and the feedback, and I think it creates this frenzy for reposting and all that. Yeah, I've seen that. I mean, not only in FM discussion, but I see that on Instagram. And like I saw somebody well known that we know, I saw this tapping video, and I'm just like, it's if your defense doesn't have, and again, I'm not talking about like there's 10 feet of space. I'm seeing come, but I'm talking about on like close proximity attacks. There's going to be a biological response. And if you don't tie your training response to that, like, I mean,
well,
I don't get it. I mean, tapping
that's,
is not a biological response.
I think that's a great point. Biological response. I don't think people train that enough because
No,
I have a video of a shooting that happened
no,
about a
you're
half an
not
hour.
that. No, Darcy.
There's a shooting that happened about a half an hour from my house, and the SWAT team was running into this mall to go get the active shooter, and there's people just like walking by, like literally crisscrossing around the cops, and I was like, with their kids, like it's just like it was like everybody's just like, man, it's not a video game, folks. It's actually happening.
It's just, you know what it is? Like I used to have, I think I told you, I used to have this. It was before my discussion, before when I got off there. It's called Blade Technologies. It was a group. I think I got up to like 2000. This is mid 2012, something like that. And I was very adamant about preaching against 2-on-1 into there. Um, and I've never gone. I've never been like that since then because basically people didn't want to hear it, and I was just aggravating people. You know what I mean? Even though I was showing proof of it, they didn't want to hear it. You know what I mean? So now the lesson learned is I know what works and all that being in the trenches, and you've seen it, and I validate it. No, I would never tell you 100%, obviously, right? But when I do see this stuff these guys are trying to sell because it looks good or is aesthetically pleasing, I mean, it's not that I don't want to say something or do something. It's just I've been down that road, and all you end up doing is hurting people's feelings. You get them aggravated, and like, what's the point? They're not going to change their mind anyhow. You know what I mean? You
I
know,
think people, I don't know, maybe people still want to see the best in people, or I don't know what it is. Like I've been
this is great. Knife tapping breaks my heart. It breaks mine too, Darcy.
I
Yeah,
find some,
Kevin. Sorry.
I find some of the stuff kind of insane. Like even when I was bouncing, if someone raised their hands while they were talking to me and they had a bottle in their hand, they're getting punched.
Yeah, like I'm like,
There's no reason for you to talk to me and go like this. Like the second this is like coming up,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. It's just
over
I don't.
overreaction, I don't give a shit. I'm going home. You're going to the
Yeah, I
hospital.
mean, you would rather, God forbid, you apologize and make amends as opposed to now you're taking this bottle to the head because
Oh, there's no apology. If you're talking to somebody and you raise your hands like that, it's hey man, it is what it is, right?
yeah, it just I don't know, but it's like evidence. You know what I mean? Like empirical evidence. Like you see this empirical evidence. Okay, like for instance, you see with grappling, okay, like if you don't have any type of ground fighting or defense positioning on the ground for just survival to get back to your feet, like just, I mean, not saying you need to go into exotic chains, etc., but just good habits, good tech, just to get back to your feet and not be under somebody just getting pounded. But you see some of these systems, they're so reluctant still to even look at, like, even despite empirical evidence. And going back to empty against night, it's like, okay, we've seen in now the growth or the acceptance of 2-on-1, but yet you still have these guys. They're still selling this other stuff. It's just like, despite evidence, like that's what drives me just like nuts, you know?
For me, it's the again, and I've said this a million times. I had never trained. Once I started really getting heavily into stick fighting, I started looking at what I was doing as far as training. And at the time, I was really heavily into Pikiti when I started making my transition to Kirby. And I started looking at the 64 attacks and said to myself, why am I doing 64 attacks?
64.
And or 65 or 92. And I'm more impressed by someone who does a 1 and 2 cleanly and um, and shows someone how to do a 1 and 2 cleanly, than to someone that shows me their 15 step, like progression. It does
Yeah.
it because the basic hits are what's going to be your foundation. And if you're making these videos for the layman or whatever, then you need to teach them, right? And maybe I would be more interested in seeing someone do something like that than I would be, you know, this is my 75 point attack, or like with Brian with his nunchucks. I see him doing some videos where he's just flowing with it, and I'm like, okay, I can kind of see that flow. But if you start going, this is the way you do it, and this is how things are done, and here you go. I'll put it to you this way. I remember um, after one of my many injuries, a friend of mine says, "Hey, if you ever want to learn a bunch of body exercises, I can teach you some body weight exercises that will, you can get back on your feet." And he sent me these crazy, like, Ninja Warrior workouts where I was like, dude, like I can't walk.
Let alone, oh
Like,
my, that's
like
funny.
I was just like, hey, thanks for the info, and it's like delete, and I just wouldn't look at any of the stuff anymore because it was just like irrelevant.
You know what it is? Okay, it's irrefutable. Boxing, there's boxing has evidence. It works. People make these five punches work, right? Okay. There's evidence on the ground. BJJ, wrestling, it works. There's evidence. Dog Brothers, there's evidence. But then you start looking at the things, it starts going, gets really thinned out, you know what I mean? But the majority goes to where, and I get it, like, again, I've said this many times, like, if you're claiming the art and you're doing that, man, God bless you, but our context is like, they're not really distinguishing between art and functionality. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we're not going to really make these lines clear. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of my issue what I'm seeing going on today, and particularly on IG.
It's funny, Kevin. I look at that in the shooting world perspective with some of these guys who do all these really cool stuff with their firearms and pistols, and then you watch a shootout and it's ugly. Where you see, for example, some of the videos I've seen recently or that I watch on a regular basis, where you watch an
Exactly.
LEO dump a mag into the vicinity and then reload and then dump that mag again. There
Dude,
isn't the two
he's
shots, turn my gun sideways,
uh,
take it out, clean it, take the mag out, take the bullets out, put them back in.
Kevin's
It's
right. People want to look good, and looking good sells, man. Like getting in there empty hand against knife where it's ugly and it doesn't look pretty. People don't want that, or
it destroys the fantasy of Hollywood. I think it was when we were talking with
yeah.
Adam, like I touched on it, where I watched a video of a bunch of cops who were storming a cartel house,
Mm.
and they had a guard at the front of the house, and the one guy dumped his entire mag into the guy, and then as a second guy ran past, he shot him a few more times, and it was like, first of all, it's brutal, it's absolutely brutal, but that's real, right? There
Yeah.
wasn't anything nice about that. There wasn't a, two to the chest, one to the, to one to the head or whatever it's supposed to be. It was like they just made sure that the guy wasn't moving and then they moved forward.
But um, Roman, Roman, I'm using his computer. We got a late start tonight.
You got to tackle him. You got to fight him right now.
Don't talk back to me.
As the door closes.
I'm so yeah, like I'm such a strict person, and yeah, law is law, and like
As you go
you
upstairs,
know what my
as you
daughter
go
did?
into.
I am such a pushover. You know what my daughter did the other day? Um, she, she goes, and at first it didn't even dawn on me. I'm like, what? It's like she was kind of smiling going up the stairs like this. I'm like, where's? And I'm like, I can't believe she just did that to me. And of course, instead of getting mad or upset, I start kind of laughing. I don't know.
I think my all time my favorite at the house recently was when my 7 year old got bit by the dog. They were playing around and my dog bit him.
Oh no,
And he's sitting there like
that's
this, like just
good.
staring at her. And the dog walks up and just my dog sitting beside him, kind of like, feels sorry. And he goes like this.
Yeah, double tap. I know. Roman's getting a little scary. Yeah, but yeah,
So,
but
so
again, the good, the bad, and ugly. There has been some good stuff though that I've been seeing on there. Like I enjoy seeing Brian's nunchuck stuff. It does pique my curiosity,
mhm.
stuff like that, and the other weapons he combines it with. I think that's kind of neat. So that's intriguing to
I
me.
think
So I think that intrigued me.
the ugly, and we obviously have touched on the ugly. I think one of the real uglies for me is the people who know that they're teaching bullshit
And they
to
know, and just because they're getting yeah,
make money and to further
yeah, their
their
bank account. No, that's yeah, like that. I tell you, I see that in FMA discussion. Like they've seen the other like word, but you know what I mean. They're like, blinders on, and as long as that money
well,
stuff coming in.
and I know some of these guys. Like I was like friends with one guy in particular, and the guy is like he's made a shit ton of money, like a stupid amount of money.
That's I tell you though, man, that's ethics. I'm just being honest. Like that gets into ethics. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like when you're pushing in, something's better out there, but because you're student based, like I remember, like when I was first exposed, literally exposed by David Gold when I went down there. I came back to my guys. I was just like, guys, we're gonna be doing things a lot differently now. This is before the COVID came in and ruined the group class. I said I was just completely straightforward with him, like because I totally embraced what he did. Like I bought into it. So it wasn't hard for me to make that change because I wanted to be the best version of myself, and I didn't really care monetarily or the acquisition of more and more and accumulation of more students. But I think there's some folks out there though that have to look at their. I mean, first of all, you got to look in the mirror and see if you're ready to make that change. And then, and I'm going to be honest here. Some people might not like this. What ends up happening is you're going to lie to your students, but ultimately you're going to end up lying to yourself. You know what I mean? Which is the worst part. You know what I mean?
I think, listen, there's people out there who just have a high athleticism or anything else, and they can pull some of the stuff off.
Yeah.
But how can you live with yourself knowing that you're teaching something to somebody who is not going to be able to pull it off? Like the slap for the knife and all that bullshit.
I
Like,
know, and again, there are some who will make that to say, "Hey, this is just the art," and you know what? They're being transparent, and they're no problem. But again, there's some that are just they're
I think
not.
that, well, I think a lot of people that watch us have been in the martial arts for a long time, and I think that's part of the thing too.
Word.
Is like
Oh,
you,
that's younger.
when you don't get when you don't get to educate some of the people who are just getting into martial arts, it's just easier to be caught up in that kind of stuff, right? that's how politics start. And dare I say, a lot of the stuff that I see now, it kind of reminds me of the early 80s, mid 90s, where martial arts started feeling more like a cult to me than it did training. Like, oh, you're with the we're there's the JKD nucleus, and then there's the JKD this and the JKD that. And it's like, well, you
Nucleus.
can't be friends with these people. Oh, yeah. And like that whole thing turned into a big giant fiasco.
My God, it was a blowout.
And it's
It
like,
was,
oh yeah, if you ever see these guys in a room, you know what to do. And it's like, what? Shake your hand? Like, what? I'm
yeah,
gonna go
yeah,
start a
exactly
riot.
what to do. You know what I
I'm
mean?
gonna go punch someone in the face because I don't, they train with someone else. Like you're you out of your mind. And I guess, back then I was still bouncing or getting into my bouncing career. So it was like, no, that seems like a very dumb idea to me to go up to somebody I don't know and say, oh, you train with that guy? Okay,
Yeah,
it's on.
I mean, like, yeah, you're like getting involved in something that you weren't there from the beginning, and you're like in the fact that you think you have to choose a side.
Shit, Dean, there's people who I obviously, this is going to be really hard for you to believe, but I need you to hear me out here. There are people out there who really dislike me.
I
And it's really weird to me. I don't get it myself,
That's
but
astonishing.
it is. And what I find is I've had students of people who I don't get along with for whatever reasons, and half the time it's because um, you know, my character and their character are too alike, and
Mm.
it's hard to be in the same room together. And these people out of the blue will message me and saying, "How dare you have done this to so and so?" And I'm like, "Who the fuck are you? Like, why are you calling me? Like, uh, your instructor wants his knife back? What? You know, it's
That's yeah. I mean, like, can you imagine getting a call like that? Somebody wanting like something back, like from a very long time ago they gave it to you.
that's pretty sad, but it happens. And I think I don't know if people get caught up in, and I guess that's part of the ugly too, is that people get caught up in other people's nonsense. And there are
They
really good
feel they
instructors
have
out there.
they're part of this group now. They have to align themselves. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like the blind leading the blind. You know, like
Well,
just
these are the
blind.
same, and they don't realize this. That person is, for lack of a better word, is either grooming them or is manipulating them into doing something that
Mm.
nobody would normally do, right?
Yeah, it's just yeah. The other ugly is just the which I get a lot, just being doing FMA discussion interviews in there, and this is the passive aggressiveness. You know what I mean? Like that's something that just yeah, like
So, well, I'm here. I'll just say this because the people who are watching here: Brent Pierce, Darcy, Brian. Um, I would tell you guys to go watch their videos. Brent stuff, aggression, deals with
Brent.
aggression. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
Brent is
deals with aggression. Darcy, his movements really fucking good. He doesn't sit there and say, "Look at me, look how awesome I am." It's like, look how function. How I look at it as like I suggest you go take a look at someone like Darcy for how functional he's made some of the things that he's been taught,
yeah.
and how he's put that stuff in a pot and let it simmer, right?
Yeah,
And
Darcy's man. Darcy's like
Brian, like, listen, one of my hardest fights I ever had was against a pair of nunchucks. So watching someone flow and move their feet with a pair of nunchucks, that's pretty fucking cool to me,
yeah. I
right?
mean, like that sound like it was intriguing. Yeah, yeah.
And
Like he was.
then,
Yeah.
and again, and not just because he's a beautiful human being, but Dean stuff as well. When I first met Dean, I didn't think that the stuff that he was doing would work on me because I thought I was some sort of angry monster Neanderthal that if you grab my knife, I will hurt you. And he proved me wrong. And then I was like, but at no point did Dean say, "Let me show you something."
Oh, grasshopper. Let
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Renee, Renee, put your zero alcohol beer down, and let me let me show you something. And it was
No,
great. It was
yeah,
absolutely great. So those are the kind of people I gravitate to, is people who are
yeah.
just, they put themselves out there, and it is what it is. I stay away from the people that talk to me and they can take a small pause and tell you how important it
I
is,
know they have to get all philosophical.
because you don't understand how I think and
Oh
how important. It's
gosh,
like, shut up.
God. Yes, our glorious cult leader. I'm telling you, it's not at all cracked up to be. Trust me. Brent says, "Thanks for the kind words."
Oh, it's just the truth, man. Like, and that's the one thing my wife says I'm about as subtle as a punch in the nose, and I think that's just the way life's got to be, right? Like, if I started putting videos out there, which I really try not to, of anything that I did, if you say it's bullshit, then tell me why it's bullshit, and then I have to look at it. If someone criticized my stuff on a regular basis, I would have to start looking at that and say, okay, why is this happening?
Yeah, like if you care and you have integrity and you really care about putting a good, honest product out there, knowing that's not 100%. And again, I always go back to Nike just being the all, you know, to me, anyhow. But not saying I'm right. But if you
Well,
genuinely care, like that's going to
and
bother you, right?
we're not, and I'm drifting through. I'm drifting through the topic, which is really rare for me. But I remember when I fought Arlen, and I tie kicked him in the ribs, and people are like, "Oh, that wasn't that hard," or like, you took it easy on him, and I was like, "Dude, I felt his ribs between my shins. Like, I felt that deflection. I know how hard I can kick, and it didn't even phase him." And yeah, or it's like when Jason Webster kicked me, and I ended up having to have my spine realigned because he like knocked the vertebra, like
that's
he basically moved it.
that's crazy. You get
Between
your
takes of a video, which was awesome, I went to a chiropractor and I walked in. It's like, and the guy thought I was in a car accident. He's like, "What happened to your back?" I go, "I got kicked." He's like, "By what, a mule?"
yeah. Yeah, we need to be, yeah, absolutely on the honesty and like call it for what it is. And if you're getting feedback that you might not necessarily like, but it's coming in and it's frequent, then you have to kind of look at yourself and look at what you're doing.
And,
If
and that's
again, if you care, I mean,
and I'll say this too, like, if you're posting a video of you doing some sort of Carenza and some dude says that would never work in a fight, it's like, I'm not fighting anybody. I'm doing a fucking
yeah, yeah,
Carenza,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? Like, if they're that ignorant that they don't see that, then
Yeah, they
don't
like
even.
okay, Carenza, and then well, yeah, I mean, then that's just trolling. Yeah,
Yeah. But if you're sitting there and you have a person in front of you and you've fired off 10 shots before the guy reacts, like you're punching baby Huey in the face, and he's like, was that a fly? Then yes, then there there must be an issue there. And that's why, like, literally, and I go back to the guys that I mentioned earlier. This is why, even like all the guys that I mentioned, and there's more out there of you that I'm forgetting right now. But when you're out there and you're really pushing yourself with someone who's pushing you back,
yeah.
that's impressive to me. I think
That's to me, that's what is beautiful. Like you're seeing this struggle and this full on intense resistance from both parties. And man, you can make heads or tell what's going on in there because you've been there. Like I find that beautiful. I totally, totally agree. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, I always go back to in my head when people are like, driving in Canada, if sliding, make sure you don't hit the brake. They show a guy in total control, and then you're actually flying down the flying down a hill, which I've done, at 65, and the car just loses control, and the wheel's doing this, and you're just saying, "Okay, I gotta make peace with whatever I believe in, and
Uh,
hopefully." you know, they don't realize I just soiled myself. It's oh man, I remember spinning down a hill once with cars behind me where the guy was looking at me like, like this, and I was like,
It was out, man. I'm
"Uh,
just kidding.
there's nothing I can do here. Thank God I'm at peace with myself.
You guys
Just
are terrified for you, and you're just like, yeah, it's just one of those days. I'm just,
I swear to God, I did a 360 and I went and his car just straightened out and like way down the street, me and this other dude came like face to face at a red light. He looked over at me and I was like, "Hey, I'm alive." Because there's nothing you can do. You're in the
I
mix.
just,
You just
I,
gotta.
I just do that for a side activity. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah,
Uh,
I'm gonna have to wrap up in a few minutes just because otherwise I'm gonna be hearing on knocking on the door again. But hey,
this
who
is
do
what
you
you do. Grab the computer, get underneath the desk, and just whisper.
so hey, who do you got? We gotta get some folks.
I want to see. I want to see Brent back. I want to. I
He
want to.
said Brent said he would get back to me when things quote
I'm just
unquote
gonna keep saying his name until
cool
he
down.
says yes.
Yeah,
I want to get Adam back. He's doing some really cool stuff overseas again, so I'd like to chat
yeah,
with him.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm both. I'm just Brent said he would let me know when quote unquote things kind of cooled down. But yeah,
Tony and Tony Taz, that dude just fought last weekend or the weekend before. Yeah, was it last weekend or the weekend before?
oh, the gathering.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah, we can
Um,
certainly.
yeah, it's yeah, Eric. Eric, there's a bunch of stuff I wouldn't mind talking to him about as well.
Eric,
Mr. O'Brien.
we could just Eric's always entertaining. Always something there to. Yeah, no, we can. Yeah, we can get Eric back on. I mean, there's
It'd be cool too
what's that?
if people start maybe even because I find that no matter what happens, uh, I we tend to talk about the things that piss us off. It'd be nice to maybe if you guys send us some topics of things that you'd like for us to talk about.
Yeah, actually, that's a great idea. But we did throw some positive in there. Like I think there's some good stuff I'm seeing. The other thing too is I'm reluctant. I'm trying to stay off social media. Like, in other words, if it's not interviews, or I'm posting in the groups or whatever, managing the groups. I'm trying not to just scroll down the wall and just one for just better use of my time and not just getting caught up in stuff. But some of the stuff I haven't seen though, it's not all bad, of course, or negative, right?
It's funny. I've been kind of doing the same thing. I'm slowly been weaning off like my personal page. I post things here and there.
Why
I'm
is your
trying to keep I'm trying to keep the like Toro Clan alive because again I'm restarting that group here. Um, um, but yeah, I find social media for me is one of those things where although I enjoy watching some of my friends overseas and all over train and some of the things that they're doing, it's man.
it's hard. No, it's hard, especially if you, especially again, not to be a dead horse in the ground, but no, and this is why because why I stopped because I felt myself I was going to start saying stuff again, so I just pulled myself back and like no, because just some of the stuff I'm seeing, like again, there was this video and reference to the person on IG, and I'm just like, it just was like, man, but so I just pull myself back just so I don't get caught up in that whole dynamic of where I'm saying something, and then I start arguing with people that I'm probably never going to see or meet. It's just, and you end up just wasting just so much time that I could be doing just other things that are just more beneficial.
And you will, I think you probably were around when this happened. I got into a ridiculous,
Unplugging it, yeah.
a ridiculous online war with, at the time, one of my instructors, and all it did is it actually, divided the group that we were together, that
That's
were
what I
in our.
mean. I find it makes things worse. Like I don't find like if you're going to get something, an entity or something that's just kind of toxic to begin with, and or you're not going to, they're not going to see your point because they're just so rooted. Like I just found like it was just such a waste of time. Like I didn't accomplish anything.
Yeah,
I
and the
never
things too
did.
is like what I find is like, for example, like, to be 100% honest, uh, we've had, I am not a very easy person to get along with.
I have no idea where that's coming from. I think you're really shortchanging yourself.
Um,
You know,
but what I find is if you don't talk it out, like face to face
yeah,
or on the phone, what pisses me off is that it gets put out online, and then it stays there as a
I
comment
know because people want
with
again.
no context, and then people, use a straw man thing where they take a little piece of what you said, and it's like, oh, Renee's this and
But
Renee's
it's for
that
likes,
or whatever.
though. It's for the drama. It's because all their little cronies can come in and side with you. And the bigger you are in that social media platform, depending on the platform,
Hmm.
now you got all these guys rallying behind you. In other words, we talked about this, the weaponization of social media. And it happens a lot, you know?
Yeah, and for me, this is just it's more. Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, guys, if you got stuff that you would like to see us talk about, and again, it doesn't have to be FMA centric. This is martial art. It could be any topic under the umbrella of martial arts. Do let us know. I mean, yeah, we can bring guests on, but if there's something in particular you would like us to talk about and you would like to actually join in or submit us topics or questions, yeah, please do. I mean, absolutely. You know,
We need to talk more about the lack of swords on your sword rack.
you know what it is? It was starting to fall off the wall. I have them on the ground. It was
Hey,
starting.
do you have the
Matter of
Zulu
fact,
shield there?
it's actually doing it again. See, it's freaking falling off. I got to. I didn't obviously did a very poor job of anchoring. But here, you want to see something neat? This stick was from the Great One. He gave him a bunch to Burton, and Burton gifted to me. This is actually from Illustrissimo. It's so dry. It's so light and dry, but he signed it too. But that's obviously a keeper.
I'm laughing because I used to have a bunch of sticks that were signed by different instructors and different people. And then I came home one day, my dad was using them in his tomato garden.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, you know what, Bert? He's just so kind. This shield, well, you heard about that.
Hmm.
This shirt is over this shirt is over, I know for an absolute fact, this shirt, early 90s, well over 30 years ago, was the original Il Sisimo shirt, group shirt that they in Lynetta Park.
Wow.
Yeah, that's, again, it was just so kind and generous of him, to, yeah,
Can you
well,
can you grab that shield for a second? I want to see something
I,
real quick.
yeah, I sure can. The blinds and sword. Yeah, I know. I'm not fixing those blinds. And I'm not fixing that sword. When the show
Actually,
ends, I will.
Eric, that's Dean's new podcast, Blinds and Swords. What's in the cuts? What's in the? Is there pieces of wood that go in between the?
No, no. So it's cowhide,
Hmm.
and what they did was they put these cuts and they just slipped in this kind of cloth. See that cloth?
Hmm.
That cloth goes kind of where they made the little inserts.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, but again, though, yeah. So which is neat because I'm going to be doing a tomahawk thing, and Burns Tomahawk program is based half Native and based Zulu.
Are we
So
talking about the steak, the tomahawk, or?
that too, yeah. But I do got. All right, I got to run. I'm teasing. Yeah. He actually needs it this day for a test, so I can't. It was. Yeah, I know.
Test.
School overrated.
Is that what
Um,
they call? Is that what they call Minecraft nowadays?
yeah. Exactly. But guys, thank you for jumping in. I know it's been 3 weeks. If guys, please send us something if you feel you would like us to talk about something in particular next week. Please do.
I think we're gonna try to just jump on even if we don't have a guest, just because I kind of like doing this.
Yeah. This was good. Yeah, it was great to catch up.
Yeah,
So,
man.
all right, next week we'll obviously talk before then.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
try to work on being liked. Okay,
It's hard, man. It really
you
is.
know, but try to. The did shit. It did. I just figured that was kind of assumed, Eric. People would know that. So, but
I think I have a picture of you in gray sweatpants in the one of the
and
Zulu Nation.
it, matter of fact, can you do me a favor? Can you send me that? That was
Yeah.
hysterical. Burton even cracked up. Now, when Burton cracks up at something, that's when you know it's funny. Yeah. Do you have it still?
I think so. Yeah. And remember, for every time you crack up, there's 10 times you're going.
Yes, I know. Can you do me a favor? Send it to me.
Okay. I will.
Um,
I will look for it.
all right, we'll be in touch.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. All right, guys. Yeah. So don't forget, send us some suggestions, and we'll be more than happy to talk about anything. Again, anything under the Marshall umbrella. But thank you for all jumping in, and we'll see you next week.